into a single unit, which can be used exactly as a normal data type, and we can also perform all the operations which can be performed on that particular any variable on the structure variable. We can perform, we can create variable, we can pass the variable to the function, we can assign a pointer to a variable. So as whatever we can do with the int, float, or character variable, we can do everything with the structure variable. So I hope the screen is visible. So yesterday we have seen this kind of record will be created, block will be created, which will, if this structure I am calling, this is a definition of the structure, which will be there in the compiler. And these are the variables which are created. So as soon as a variable is created, the this kind of block will be allocated in the memory. So that block will contain three different types of data types together. That is a string, an integer, and a character. So likewise, we have seen all the other things we can do with a particular structure, and we have also gone through some examples. Now we'll go for this program we have already done, where we are defining three structures or three structure variables, a structure called as distance, and we are creating three variables from that: distance 1, distance 2, and sum. So we are trying to add two numbers and not two numbers. We are trying to add two distances which are defined in feet and inches, and we are adding feet into feet and inch part into inch. And if inch result is about 12, then we are adding 1 into feet. So one homework for you on this ground. Yesterday I was supposed to give, but I forgot. Tomorrow I'll check. You will write a program to add two dates. Now date will be defined with DD MMYY, and right now we will assume that the day month has only 30 days in it. Okay, so all months has 30 days in it. So if I am adding two dates, then what will be the result of it? So if it is more than 30 days, month will be added, and if it is more than 12 months, an year will be added. So I request you to try out that program with structure. Okay. One more thing which I just want you to know. You may or may not use it. That's your choice. See, what we can do is we can do in this way. Okay, we are defining a structure distance with feet and inches as their members, and we can declare a variable in a main as distance d1 and d2. So d1 and d2 both will have both these parts. Okay, inch and feet. Okay, feet will be an integer, inch will be the float. Okay, so this is a normal variable. We have some feature in C called as type def. Okay, defining a type. So type def struct distance as d. So here this d is not a variable. Remember, in this case, when type comes, type def means we are just giving a acronym to the data type which we are defining. So we are defining distance with feet and inches, but instead of writing distance everywhere, I will provide an acronym to it, a smaller name to it, that is d. Okay, so now d can be further used. So as distance is now named as d, type defined as d, d1, d2 will be having exact effect as that of this one. Okay. So type def you can do when you want to avoid writing the name of that structure number of times. Okay. Now we'll come to nested type of structure. Structure is a structure. Before proceeding further, I will like to ask you, uh, do you have any doubts till this point, or shall we proceed? You can prompt in the chat box. Shall we proceed, or you wish to ask something till now, whatever is covered? So shall we proceed? So with this people saying yes that we can proceed, I'm proceeding further. Now we can bring different types of data together in a structure. So structure can have integer, float, character, pointer variables in that. So similarly, it can also have a structure within it. Okay, a structure can have a structure within it. Let us see this particular example. We have declared a structure STU address. We have declared a structure STU address which has its street, state, and city and country, where we are saying that as character pointer. That means these are character arrays. These are strings. Okay, these are strings. So whenever we declare character pointer state, that means it may define a string. Okay, so a student have 4 fields into it: street, state, city, and country. So street will be integer, whereas state, city, and country are going to be the pointer variable. Okay, so let us say that this takes each takes 4 bytes. Each take 4 bytes. Okay, to just make a difference, we'll make pointer variables as 8 bytes. Okay, so that maximum addresses can be added. So total size of this will be 28. This will be the structure. Now we have another structure which has integer student ID, integer student age, and a character pointer student name. So 3 things are already there. 3 things are already there: the SID, student ID, student age, and student name. Okay. Along with that, what we have is structure student address, STU address. So this structure is this one which we are referring to. As it is declared before it, it can be used in this structure. Only care we need to take is if we are to use a structure within a structure, the inner structure must be declared before the structure in which it is going to be used. So it is happening here. This is already declared. So this structure. So as we have added a integer variable, another integer variable, another character pointer variable. Similarly, we are adding a structure variable. So along with these 3, it is going to have another 4 fields which will be actually treated as a single unit. This will be treated as a single unit. C and CF. So this whole will be this whole will be your data. So it will have 4 members, 2 integers, 1 character string, and another as a structure variable. So this way I can make use of or declare a structure within a structure. How to use it, that we'll see in the next example. Let us see this example where we are declaring main. Someone asked me the question yesterday that where we should declare structure, globally or locally or outside main, inside main. I replied it can be done anywhere. It can be declared anywhere. Depends on the way you want to use it. If you want to use it throughout the program in all functions, better go for a global declaration. Otherwise, you can go this kind of local declaration where within main, I am declaring a function called as student. I'm declaring a function called as student. Within the what are the data members of that? Data members of that will be a character string of size 30. Another structure which will inside that structure it is going to have three integers and a float value. So what will be the structure? What will be the construction of this? It will be construction like this will be the name. And another, this will be AVG. This whole will be AVG within which we have three members. In which we have four members, sorry, not three. Subject 1, subject 2, subject 3, and average. So, subject 1, subject 2, subject 3, and average. So, this will be the total size of this array. So, this structure is declared and initialized, not initialized, defined inside the function. So, this whole will be this one. Okay, this whole will be this one. And this character name will be this one. And so, this is average, but a variable for that average is created, that is AVG1. So, it will not be AVG, it will be AVG1. Okay, and a structure definition is closed. And after closing that, we are creating a variable of type student named as std1, student1. So this whole is std1. Okay, this whole is std1. So this way we can declare a structure within a structure. How to use it now? So enter the name of a student. Name of the student is a direct member of structure student. For which the variable is student1. So scanf student1. I can directly write this. Percentage specifies the access to a string. So let us say that a name given is ABC. Enter the marks of a student. So marks of a student can be entered as subject 1 marks, subject 2 marks, and subject 3 marks. But they are the members of structure average, which is inside the structure student. It is, see how it is declared. Student1 dot average1 dot subject1. Okay, what is student1? Variable of the structure student. What is average1? Variable of the structure average, which is inside the structure student. So automatically AVG1 becomes part of student1. AVG1, this becomes part of student1. That's why what we need two dot operators here. One will be referring to the its structure, and another will be referring to the outer structure. So student1 dot avg1 dot sub1. Student1 dot avg1 dot sub2. Student1 dot avg1 dot sub2. So this way we can make use of it. Okay, and similarly now we can operate on those variables. So student1 dot avg1 dot average, we are going to calculate in this way. Okay, so let us say that we have entered ABC. Student1 marks as 10, this as 20, this as 30, So average will be calculated as 20, and thus it will be printed. So have we got this? How we can make use of a structure within a structure. Okay. Another method for the same is it will be having a exactly same effect. Only change which is happening here is you can observe it also. In this case, we are defining AVG inside student, and in this case, we are defining AVG outside student. So int main structure AVG is declared having 3 subjects and the average into that. We are not creating any variable for this. Now the structure student is defined, and we are writing a character name and a structure AVG1. Okay, it will have exactly same effect as that of the previous one, and this will be probably better practice than the previous one, because declaring structure inside a structure may increase some confusion. So this is always good. Declare the inner structure completely, define it, and then use it within another function. So it also increases the scope of that structure. Again, std1 is defined, and it will be, as I said, exactly same effect, exactly same usage also. So there is no difference between the previous and this definition, but these are the 2 different methods with which we can declare 2 structures. Okay, so this is about declaring a structure within a structure. Okay, so any questions, you can interrupt and ask me. Any question, you can interrupt and ask me. I'll proceed further, or you can put the question in the chat box also. Okay. Now the next thing, as I'm again repeating a number of times, the structure is exactly like the now other variables which we are declaring, that is predefined data types and this user defined data type. So a pointer can also be assigned to a structure. A pointer can also be assigned to a structure and also to its variable. Okay. So or we can store the addresses of those member variables. So a pointer to a structure means a pointer variable that can hold address of a structure. Okay, of course it can be obtained with the ampersand operator, and all structure members inside the function can also be accessed using that pointer. Okay, so by assigning the structure variable address to the pointer. So as we are declaring a structure variable like in the earlier one as AVG1 or student1, as we can declare a variable of a structure and access those members. Similarly, we can access the members using a pointer variable, but we need to give the address to it. So how it can be declared? See here, a structure name is given, data members are given, and with this the similar method of pointer, we can declare it as with the asterisk symbol, asterisk PTR variable 1, which will be a pointer to the variable of this structure or this type. Okay. In this way, we can just for the previous example, we can do this way. Okay. A student is declared, character, structure, average name. All the things are very similar. Only thing is we are creating a variable student1 and another variable which is a pointer variable pointing to the structure. So of this type, student, and it is holding address of a student. So this previous example, whatever we have taken, it will be having some address. Let us say that this structure start 100. So this is going to have some address. Your name will be starting from 100. It is of 30 characters, so this will be starting from 130. All integers are there, so this will be started with 134, 138. I hope you all are understanding what I am doing here. 142 and float as 8. So let us say that it will be at 150. So this will be the total size of array, or these are the addresses of array. So if it is an address, it can be definitely stored in a pointer variable. Okay. So here we are creating a student1 variable, and its address is stored in ptr. Okay. Now main aspect is what is the use of it, how to use this pointer variable. Of course, what is the use of it, we all know. What is the use of pointers, we all know. But how to access member variables, like here subject1, previously we were just taking subject1 dot student1 dot subject1, student1 dot subject2, student1 dot subject3. But now there comes pointer variable in picture, and how can we access it? We can access a pointer, access the members of a structure using pointers in two different ways. First is either we can take an indirection operator. We can take the indirection operator and a dot operator. Okay, remember this term, the dot operator, in this way. So pointer variable dot member1. Member1 is the member of that data structure, and pointer variable stores the address of a variable defined from that particular structure. Only thing you need to keep in mind is this parenthesis is very important whenever we are using indirection operation. So you will have to specify a parenthesis, or you will have to put that variable in pointer variable in parenthesis, so that it can be clearly differentiating between the use of pointer variable and accessing the members using the pointer variable. Okay, so this parenthesis is important. So we can, first method to use it is indirection operation and dot operator, and second, which is most popular method and clearly differentiates, is the arrow operator. We can make use of arrow operator. So it will be pointer variable arrow member1. So this is again a membership operator. This is similar to the dot operator, but only thing we need to, when you have a dot operator, the left hand side will be a pointer variable. Whenever you have a arrow operator, it will be a point. So dot operator, left hand side operator will not be a pointer operator, and arrow operator, left hand side operator will definitely be a pointer variable. So there are two methods of accessing the members using a pointer variable. How we can just see an example. This I am not going to again tell. We have declared a variable student name, a student1 for the structure student. Okay, let us say that std1, stud1, not std1. std1 is stored at 100, location number 100. Okay, it's stored at location number 100. So it has its part, as we have already discussed. So I'm not going to put more discussion on this. So now this address is stored in stud ptr. Okay, so what is the value of this variable? It is equal to 100. Okay, value of this variable. What is the value at that variable? That will be the values owned by the structure. Now we can make use of this. So enter the name of a student. Here we are, instead of saying STUD1 student 1 dot name, I am saying I am using the variable of pointer variable for the structure. So stdptr dot name. So this is the first convention which is using the dot operator, okay, and the indirection operation. This is the second convention. You can see while entering the name, I am using the first convention. What entering the subject mark, I am using the second convention where I can make use of arrow. Okay, you can clearly mark the difference between this and this. Uh, Here it is not put in bracket. Here this is put in bracket. Okay, so this way with the with the arrow operator, we can initialize all the subjects. We can also add all of them, and finally we are finding out the finding out the value of the sum. Okay, so this way we can pass, or not pass, we can use a pointer variable, and we can access the member functions, sorry, member data members of the structure. Okay, last thing about today's discussion, passing the structure member to the function. Passing the structure member, I'm not talking structure, that will be in the next lecture. I'm talking about the structure member, passing the structure members to a function. How we can do it? The int stdio.h, a function is declared by name integer, which is taking two integers as an input and will return one integer as output. Okay, so add is a function name. Two integers are passed and one is returned, or it is going to return one value. A structure addition is defined where we have int abc and sum as the variable of it. Okay, so sum has sum dot a, sum dot b, sum dot c. Right, this will be your sum. So this will be a, b, c. Right now no values are entered, but now I can write all the three values. Okay, so let us say that I have entered 10, I have entered 20. So this will be, so sum dot a will be 10, sum dot b will be 20, sum dot c is now calculated as addition of the two. Okay, so add is a function which is previously declared. Yes, I am finding that, and sum dot a is passed to it and sum dot b is passed to it. They both are individual integers. So it is possible for us to use that. It is absolutely possible for and valid for us to use it. So sum dot c will automatically be made as 30. Okay, so sum of two values can be printed as this is the definition of sum. So if int x and y are supplied, we are creating a sum and we are just returning it. So sum 1 will be returned to this value, and in turn it is going to call okay. So this is about passing structure members to a function. Fine. So in the next lecture we'll see how to pass the structure itself to the function, or uh, passing pointers of a structure to the function. Okay, in tomorrow's lecture we'll see that. So we'll stop here today. I hope you have understood the topic. If you have some doubts, you can ask now. Yes.
So in the case where we have to pass the structure variables to the function, or if there are two structures, one declared globally and one declared locally, with two variables of the same name, sum.
Yeah. So in
So,
that case, huh.
yes, sir, yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So,
Complete your question, Saurish.
what we will do in that case, if we have to put both the variables, first, suppose we have declared structure addition globally with the value of int a, and
Huh.
in locally we have also declared a structure subtraction with the variable a. Then what we will
Yeah.
do when we have to take both the variables a in the same function.
Yeah, yeah. There is no issue. First thing is we are not going to pass the global variable to any function. As it is global, it can be used anywhere in the entire program. Second thing is we are going to pass only the local variable. And even if you are taking the same name, in that case, we will have separate structure names and structure variable names also. Okay. Two structures cannot have same name. Structure variable or the member variables can have same name. Two structures cannot have same name. So automatically it is going to differentiate. Okay. Anyone else? See, playing with these global and local variables is very interesting. Try out some programs where you are intentionally using similar names to the local and global variables, and you can find the interesting clashes among those. So, anyways, whatever you do in programming, the best part is computer doesn't blast. Okay, it will not be blasted. So you can do anything. What at the max it can have, it will tell you it is error or it will abort the program abnormally. But it is not going to crash or it is not going to blast. So we can uh, possibly find out or try to use every possible combination we can think of, and definitely that will be helpful for us to learn many new things, because he will always give you unexpected answers. Yes, anything else? So if there are no further questions, you may leave the meeting. I've done for the class, and before leaving, just I want to tell you, try out the program which I asked you. You have 10-15 minutes in hand uh, to add two dates, and those who are really comfortable can also possibly uh, try to subtract to one date from another. Okay. So try out this program. Tomorrow I may ask any one of you to explain that program, how logically I have done. Fine. So this is all from my side. You may leave.